Hello, everybody. If you're new here, thanks for joining. If you're old here, then welcome back. Again, any likes and follows and whatever is that you've given me so far, truly I appreciate. Please keep them coming. Thank you for joining me for this little journey of mine. And I know a lot of these videos to start have been about books, but that's because that's like sort of kind of what my vibe has been about recently. But some writing content, if you will, is in the future. I am probably going to do a bit of writing today, and the main project I'm working on is this rewrite of a NaNoWriMo story I wrote a few years ago. It's kind of like a different take on a popular trope. And I wrote about 47 pages and then decided that there was some parts that I wanted to flesh out a little more. And so I kind of went back to do a few mini edits that I'm now happy with. And I'm going to kind of continue from there. I'm telling myself to try not to backtrack too much and just go forward. Because again, this is basically, it's not a first draft, obviously, because I've already written a first draft for NaNoWriMo, but it's definitely the first real rewrite, and there's going to be more after that I have to remind myself. So, but I am happy with what I did, and so I will talk more about writing in the future, but this video, I want to talk about what I've been reading, and by the time you listen to this one, it will probably be a few weeks in the future. I don't know exactly how I'm going to release these. I did film a couple before. Maybe I'll put this up sooner. I don't know. I'm just excited to get stuff filmed and put out there, so we'll see. But it is right now September 16th still. So it's the same day that I filmed the video about the author showcase at Wayside. And the children's book haul. But again, I did costume changes for all of them because I want to show off all the fun shirts that I don't get to show off to people. And that's part of what this is about, to be honest. A small part, but a fun part for me. Anyways, what I will talk about today is the books that I'm currently reading. So again, this is of September 16th, 2024. The first book I'll talk about, I've been reading on my Kindle, and I am freaking loving it. It is House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. And I've heard about this book for a while, and it came up, I think, somewhere telling me that, oh, it's on discount on Amazon or whatever. So I'm like, you know what, for $4 or however much it was, I was like, why not? I've wanted to read it anyway. And my Kindle is reserved for reading mostly at work. I have cheated a bit and read some at home because I just really wanted to find out what happened next. So it's a lovely story. If you don't know much about it, it's so the main character is Linus. He works for this company that deals with magical youth, so kids who live in orphanages and that are specifically for magical kids. And he is like a caseworker, so he basically sees if the children are happy, healthy, if the orphanages are being run to the standard that they should be, and if not, they get shut down. What happens after, he doesn't know because that's not part of his job. And he is kind of miserable. He's an older guy. He's 40, I think it says. And he gets put on a new case, and it's a special, he gets called by extremely upper management, which I think is funny. And it's just if you hate capitalism at all, work for a corporate job, or just are aware how that kind of stuff sucks, I think you'll enjoy that part of the book, because F all of them. Anyway, but he gets sent on this special case, and he gets sent to this island where the most dangerous kids are, and of course he has these preconceived notions, even though he knows he's supposed to be objective. And the head of the orphanage, the person in charge, is Arthur Parnassus, which great name. And And yeah, and it's kind of a story of him unbecoming and becoming a kind of more true version of himself. I'm not done. I'm about halfway. And it is also a queer story. So Linus is gay, and Arthur, I mean, I haven't gotten there yet, but there's definitely some chemistry starting between them. It's a very slow burn in that regard, and it's not really the focus of the story, but it's going to be an aspect, I feel. It's more about him and the kids and all that stuff. But I really love it. The second part to this came out like 2 days ago or something, and I will definitely get that too. I would love paper copies of these, especially the version right now has like cerulean sprayed edges and it looks beautiful. So that's definitely something that I would get in physical copy, and I would love to get the pair of them because it's super fun. I'm really excited to find out what happens. I'm excited to be even more angry at extremely upper management than I already am because they suck. But yeah, I'm not sure how this will end, especially because I'm not quite sure how the second one starts. So that will be a fun journey to go on. So that's what I've been reading mostly at work. Another one, and I mentioned this in my Fan Expo haul, is Pageboy by Elliott Page. Now, I was not prepared for how messed up Elliott's life has been. I had no idea that he dealt with even an iota of any of the things that he's dealt with. And this is at times, it is a really hard read. Whoa! Because... yeah, some messed up stuff, guys, happens to him. And I've had to kind of put it down a few times and just be like, okay, we're done with that for today, because I don't know if I can handle much more. So, like, definitely some trigger warnings there. There's, like, and I feel like it mentions that maybe at the beginning, but, like, I didn't quite realize it. That, like... oh man, like, he's dealt with some shit. There's like sexual assault, and just like hate crimes and just stuff, eating disorders, body dysphoria, body dysmorphia. I mean, that stuff I kind of figured was going to be in there. But yeah, it's a hard read, but the pockets of joy that are in there so far are truly dear. And I'm excited to get further in to the more recent part of his story where I hope there is more joy to it. And I think there is, because, you know, I think only then could he have come to a place where he could maybe write it down. I don't want to assume that, but I feel like more of that is coming. But man, it's a ride. And I did read some Goodreads reviews that were talking about they don't like the way it's written because it seems kind of scattered. And I do see their point. I did argue hard against that because I'm like, why does a story have to be linear from start to finish? And I still agree with that. I do feel it's almost like it seems like he's talking to a friend. And you know, when you're telling stories to people, you're not really as concerned about, like, does it make sense from start to finish? You kind of wind your way through different moments in time and connect back and forth. And there's kind of a conversational flow, I feel like it seems. But it does get confusing sometimes because he'll be talking about something and then talk about something new and then sometimes go back to the thing that was just a few paragraphs before or something that might have been at the beginning of the chapter. So it does feel a little disjointed at times, and you kind of have to take a moment to be like, oh, which thing does this relate to, if at all, or if it's something new. So I do get that part. But I don't think it disrupts it enough that you're like, I don't understand what's going on. It's just a bit of a, I don't know how to say it. Maybe it's a bit of a more casual way of piecing the points together. But I am really happy I picked it up. I've wanted to buy this ever since it came out, and I'm glad I have it because, I mean, I'm trans too, and I feel like it's important to read other people's stories, whether you are or not queer or trans or any of that. Give yourself information about people who are different than you, in whatever way they're different, because that's important. And I think this is important to know about him to kind of understand his life. But yeah, so I am happy I got it. It is hard to read. So you kind of have to be in that vibe to sit with it sometimes. But I am getting through it. I'm more than halfway through, so more than halfway, yeah, about halfway. But yeah, so that's been interesting. The next one, this one also was in my Fan Expo haul, is A Court of Thorn and Roses. You can see about how far I'm in. It's still kind of in the intro portion, kind of just meeting Tamlin and getting to his home and all that stuff. I'm probably going to pause reading this for a minute because of the next book I'm reading, because they're both like romantasy books. And the other one, my guys, is a chunker. So this one I'll get back to when I'm kind of off of the next one. I am enjoying it more than I thought I would. I was kind of, and I mentioned this again in the other video, that I did have a hate moment about this because I'm like, it's so popular, it must suck, but that's not fair. And I wanted to give it a shot. But I am going to pause this because of the other book that I picked up. Now, there is, I just found out about how there's a Chapters who does a romantasy book club, and they've been doing it for a few months, and I registered to get my shot to get in, and I got in, and I was like kind of hemming and hawing about how to get my hands on the book, because there wasn't any more library copies, neither physical nor ebook. There wasn't anything available on Libby. And I thought about getting it from Amazon, but then I'm like, I feel like that's kind of cheating on the Chapters. Like, I feel like if I'm going to be part of their book club, I should probably buy it from the store. So I ordered it online, but I picked it up. And first of all, the cover is beautiful. And the story sounds interesting. But bro, it's almost 700 pages long. And I have until like October 7th or 8th, I think. 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there is when the next book club meeting is. And again, it's the 15th of September, and I kind of only, like, I'm only that far from the beginning. I didn't realize the length of this book when I was like, all right, yeah, let's do this. So I'm a little intimidated by it. It is an interesting story. It's a world, it's a kind of, I don't know if it's high fantasy, I guess, but it's a fantasy with its own magic system, its own lore. There's this whole creation myth with like different elements, air, water, fire, and earth. And then there's this like fifth kind of creator godlike essence that's like trapped in a stone because it's like too strong. There's dragons in this world. When the Moon Hatched is a reference to when dragons die, I think. They go up into the sky and turn into like moons, and then when the moons fall, that's a problem. I'm still not quite sure why it is. It does have in the beginning of the book a whole like glossary of how they describe age and time, different terms, names of the characters, and different kinds of beings that there are. So that is useful to go back to, because like otherwise I'd be like, what is that? And it does have a beautiful map on the inner front page. And I love this. So this is just at the beginning here when it's describing the creation, I guess, myth. It does have this beautiful art. Again, I love illustrations in books. The chapter fronts have their own illustration, and it's just repeated throughout, but it's also quite beautiful. And yeah, so the main character is an assassin for this like secret guild, and they're elves, I think, and different elves can hear the elements and control the elements, and if you can't do that, you're called a null, and they like clip a part of your ear to show that you are one. And I don't want to really give anything away because, like, in this first few, like, chapters or chapter that I'm in, it's like, oh, you realize a whole thing. But it's, like, the story of Rave, who is an assassin for this guild, and there's something to do with somebody else who's a bounty hunter, and she gets captured, and then this next guy who's on like a vengeance mission, finds her, and their lives are intertwined in some deep way. And I'm sure some romance ensues. Romance and fantasy, in fact. So it does seem really interesting. I am kind of hooked. The way they've set it up is very cool. The way the author uses description is very lush. I do kind of hate that she refers to men and women as males and females. That always kind of gives me the ick when I'm reading stories, because it's like, they're not animals. Like, just say the man over there instead of the male over there. It just gives me personally like ABO fanfic vibes or something like that. It's just a little, for me, it's a little cringe. If you don't care, fine. If you like it, fine. I'm not like digging out the author or anything. Oh, the author is Sarah A. Parker, who I did follow on Instagram. Again, I'm really enjoying it. The lore is very cool. The magic system is very cool. The way she writes is very cool. Like, I definitely, like, I want to know what happens over the course of these, oh my god, almost 700 pages. But I don't like using male and female as descriptor. I don't like it. I don't like it. But that's the one thing where I've been like, okay, that's not for me. But I think I can just move past it. Again, I don't know if I'll be able to finish this in time for the book club meeting. I hope I do, because I'd like to be able to talk about it properly. And if I just really dig in, there's going to be a few times this week where I'm kind of like traveling by public transit. That should give me nice chunks of time to read it. And I'm going to, read some before bed as much as I can and throughout the day. So I will plod my way through it as much as I can. But that's what I'm reading right now. Again, please talk to me about these books or others if you like. Comment or follow me on Instagram. Right now, those are the best places. I have a TikTok. I don't really use it. I'm thinking of other options for the future, but I don't really know what those will be yet. But yeah, so that's what I'm reading right now. And I will talk about more stuff in the next video. Bye!